Have you ever looked back on a relationship and thought, how did I not see this coming? Some of the most powerful men in the world, Johnny Depp, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, have been blindsided. Not because they were weak, but because they didn't see the game being played, Marcus Aurelius said. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most men give that power away without realizing it. For centuries, human behavior has followed patterns, subtle, ancient, and dangerously effective. Carl Jung called them archetypes, the masks people wear to get what they want. Inside every man lives the anima, the feminine image that draws him toward certain women. Inside every woman is the animus, the masculine image she projects onto men. The danger is when these instincts are used not for love, but for control. A 2023 Cambridge study found women score 23% higher in social Machiavellianism, mastery of subtle psychological strategy. A Michigan State study revealed 76% of divorced men ignored early red flags. This isn't about good or bad, it's about tools. Men historically relied on strength. Women mastered emotional and social influence, and used to dominate rather than connect. The results can be devastating. Secret 1, the addiction to emotional investment. It starts like a dream. She treats you like the most fascinating man alive. Messages all day, endless curiosity. You feel chosen. This is love bombing. Your brain floods with dopamine and oxytocin, and you become hooked. Then it shifts. Messages slow, warmth fades. Work harder to get back what you had. Knowing you've stepped into the great controlling mother, affection given only when you please her. Epictetus warned, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. When your emotions depend on her schedule, your freedom is gone. Secret to the invisible provider test. Weeks into dating, a small emergency appears. A broken car, a card declined. You help. She's grateful. Then it happens again. Yes. Each yes is recorded. 82% of financial exploitation begins with requests under $100 because they seem harmless. This is the damsel in distress, turning vulnerability into leverage. Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Secret 3, strategic social triangulation. She mentions an ex who still misses her, or a coworker who flirts. Social media makes it easy. She becomes the seductress, making you feel replaceable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best. Revenge is not to be like your enemy. A secure man doesn't compete for attention, he commands it naturally. Secret for emotional gaslighting, she denies things you know happened. You start doubting your memory. Jung called this the projected shadow. Your flaws exaggerated, hers minimized. Control your perception, and you control your peace. 8. 5. The emotional ammunition archive in your most vulnerable moments. She listens only to later weaponize your words. Seneca cautioned, what you keep to yourself, you control forever. When trust becomes a weapon, the relationship shifts from love to power. These aren't fairy tales, they are patterns. And like any game, the first step to winning is knowing you're in one. In life, distractions are everywhere. But the Stoics remind us that true strength comes from mastering our emotions, not letting them master us. Seneca once said, he who is brave is free. Freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about not being enslaved by impulse, jealousy, or fear. Picture a man who receives a message that shakes him. Maybe she doesn't reply for hours. Maybe she's laughing with someone else. Most men panic, sending message after message, letting anxiety consume them. But the Stoic man pauses. He remembers Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I recall a story of a soldier who returned to find his love speaking with another man. Instead of confronting her in anger, he simply nodded, trusting that what is real does not need to be chased. Later, she told him that his calm was the very thing that deepened her respect. In that stillness, she saw his strength. Women don't seek perfection, they seek emotional safety. If you erupt in anger over every misunderstanding, you show her instability. But when you remain steady, even in the storm, you become her anchor. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When you master your mind, you master the relationship. Ask yourself, are you reacting like a boy or responding like a man? The difference is in discipline. Emotional discipline is not about hiding your feelings. It's about guiding them. A leader does not panic when tested. He uses the test to show his composure. Remember, she's not always trying to hurt you when she tests you. She's seeking proof that you can lead with calm in chaos. Pass that test, and you don't just win her admiration, you earn her trust for life. In life, there's a kind of strength that doesn't come from muscles, titles, or wealthy. It comes from knowing your purpose. A man without purpose drifts, chasing every distraction. But a man with a mission draws respect and loyalty without demanding it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. Be occupied with what is truly your own." Purpose is the compass that keeps you steady when the world tries to pull you in 100 different directions. Picture this: a craftsman in a small village. He's not famous, not wealthy, but every morning he rises before the sun, shaping wood into works of beauty. He's not competing with others, he's perfecting his craft. People are drawn to his workshop, not because he seeks their approval, but because his dedication inspires them. It's the same in relationships. Women are naturally drawn to men who are building something meaningful, even if it's not glamorous. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Without a destination, you're just drifting." But with purpose, every step has meaning, every challenge becomes part of the journey. Women can sense this. Man who's working toward his vision doesn't have time to play games. He's not glued to his phone waiting for her reply because he's busy building. And that energy-focused, driven, unapologetic is magnetic. Think of Epictetus's wisdom. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. When you live this way, you no longer chase popularity, you attract the right people naturally. The wrong ones fall away because they can't match your pace, and the right ones stay because they respect your path. So ask yourself, are you living each day with intention, or are you just reacting to what comes? Because the man who leads his own life doesn't just gain a woman's interest, he earns her deep admiration. Purpose isn't about what others think you should do. It's about what you know you must do. And once you align your actions with that, you stop being just another man in the crowd. Become the man whose presence is felt even when he's silent. In a world obsessed with appearances, women are quietly searching for something far rarer: integrity. Many men shapeshift to impress, exaggerating stories, laughing at things they don't find funny, pretending to like what they actually don't. They fear that if she sees their true self, it won't be enough. But as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Integrity is not about crafting an image. It's about living in such a way that your private self and your public self are the same. There's a story of Lucius, the Stoic soldier, who was offered a promotion with one condition: turn a blind eye to a corrupt act. He could have taken the gold, the power, and the influence. No one would have known, except himself. Lucius refused. Fellow soldiers mocked him, but that night his lover told him, "I love you because I never have to wonder who you are." Are the same man in every room. That is the essence of trust. Women can sense when your words and actions don't align. Without trust, attraction fades. Seneca said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." If your ambition is truth, you become unshakable. If your aim is approval, you will bend until you break. Ask yourself, when no one is watching, who are you? Do you keep your word? Do you walk away from what violates your values, even when it's tempting to stay? The man who does this becomes unforgettable, not because he is perfect, but because he is safe to love. In the end, integrity over image isn't just a principle of Stoicism, it's the foundation of lasting connection. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Live so that the answer to who are you never changes. No matter the room, the reward, or the risk. In a world that glorifies noise and self-promotion, true strength often hides in silence. Many men feel pressured to prove themselves, to speak of their victories, to display their wealth, to make sure others know their worth. But the Stoics understood something far deeper. Power that must be announced is not real power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are rooted in confidence, you don't need to decorate them with boasts. A man who knows his value carries it quietly. His presence, not his words, speaks for him. Consider a real-world example. A leader in a company who never talks about his accomplishments. Yet every decision he makes shifts the entire direction of the team. People respect him not because of his speeches, but because his results speak volumes. Just as in the Roman legions, where the quietest commander often inspired the most loyalty, modern life rewards the man who leads through action, not noise. Seneca once said, "Work in silence. Let your success be your noise." This isn't about withholding your truth. It's about choosing your words with intention. In relationships, this restraint builds mystery and respect. A man who doesn't need to brag becomes a man worth remembering. Women, especially, can sense the difference between confidence and performance. Imagine walking into a room and saying nothing, yet people turn to see who you are. That's the kind of presence forged through self-mastery. You become magnetic, not by chasing attention, but by commanding it without effort. Epictetus taught, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In the same way, it's not what you say about yourself, it's how you carry yourself. That leaves an impression. Silence is a form of control. It says, "I am enough," without your validation. So let the others talk. Let them display. You, instead, build your craft, grow your discipline, and refine your character. The right people will notice, and the right woman will be drawn to you not because you shouted the loudest, but because your quiet strength spoke the truth. In the end, silence is not emptiness. It is the space where real power lives. When your energy is steady and your words are rare, every syllable becomes priceless. That is a kind of wealth no money can buy. In life, the most powerful men are not the ones who shout their worth, but the ones whose presence speaks louder than words. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." True strength does not need a stage, it radiates naturally. Consider a moment from history, a commander returning from victory. While others boast about their role, he remains silent. His silence is not weakness, it is command. Seneca wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings." When you master silence, you master the need for validation. In relationships, this is even more powerful. Many men feel the need to prove themselves, showing off their possessions, titles, or connections. But the man who doesn't feel the need to prove anything is the one she remembers. Why? Because his value is not built on applause, but on authenticity. Epictetus taught, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The man who stays grounded, who acts with purpose instead of performance, creates a magnetic pull. You don't have to convince her you are worthy. You live in a way that leaves no doubt. Picture this. You walk into a room. You don't rush to be heard. You don't fight for attention. Yet people notice. They feel the calm strength in your steps, the purpose in your eyes. That's what women and people in general are drawn. 2. Power that doesn't shout. Presence that doesn't beg. In a world addicted to noise, the one who can stay quiet, focused, and disciplined is rare, and rarity is irresistible. Don't aim to outtalk others. Aim to outlive the noise. Build yourself in silence. Let your work speak. Let your actions tell the story. Eventually the right people, land the right woman, will notice. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In the same way, the best display of power is not to prove. It's to embody it. Be the man whose worth is felt, not announced. In life and in love, the men who leave the deepest mark are rarely the loudest. They are the ones whose actions speak long after their voices fall silent. In a world obsessed with self-promotion, the Stoic man understands a timeless truth. True, power needs no announcement. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The same applies to attention. Seek it, and you reveal weakness. Let it come to you, and you reveal strength. Many men feel the urge to constantly remind others of their worth through words, status, or displays of wealth. But the moment you try too hard to impress, you signal that you doubt your own value. Imagine two soldiers returning from battle. One brags about his courage, recounting every detail with inflated pride. The other simply returns to his duties, his armor still bearing the marks of the fight. Which one do you respect more? Which one do you remember? Respect is not won by volume. It's earned in silence. Epictetus taught, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This doesn't mean playing small. It means you do not measure yourself by public opinion. You understand that your worth comes from discipline, integrity, and mastery of self, not from applause. In relationships, this principle is magnetic. Women may be intrigued by charm, but they are drawn in by quiet confidence. A man who doesn't need to advertise himself creates an air of mystery, and mystery sparks curiosity. It's the reason why someone you can't quite figure out stays on your mind long after they've left the room. Think of the most captivating moments in your life. Often, they weren't filled with noise, but with presence. A shared glance, a pause before speaking, the weight of words unspoken. Seneca once said, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings." When you embrace this, you stop chasing validation and start commanding respect without asking for it. So, let others shout about their worth. Let them fight for the spotlight. You focused on building a life and a character that speak for themselves. When you do, both the world and the right woman will notice, not because you demanded their attention, but because your quiet strength couldn't be ignored.